I was trying to give like Jenny from the block today with my big hoops, but with my freaking big head, I'm giving Jimmy Neutron. Remember how last week or maybe the week before we were talking about strong black women and weak white men? Well, this week we're going to be talking about black women and the swagless, swaveless, lack of meat on the bone intelligence white men. And of course, let's not forget the fetishizing. I can't wait till I can say that word properly. We're going to be talking about the fetishizing, the swagless, the swaveless white men. So I recently received this comment in my comment section, and let's be clear, I am not in any way, shape, or form bashing this person. She is so entitled to her opinions, just as I am, just as you are. And I am never, ever, ever going to sit here and tell you to be with a white man or to be with a black man or a gray man or a purple man. Like, I am never going to sit here and tell you who you need to be with. Actually, I take that back, because who I am going to tell you that you need to be with is someone who loves, respects, and who will provide for you regardless of race. Character over color, period, full stop. But like I said in a previous video, there are a lot of black women out there, at least seemingly, there are a lot of black women out there who think that white men are not just weak, but are just bland and have no swag. Which brings me to the first point of discussion in this video, and honestly all of this video is just going to be a discussion because I do not proclaim to have the answers. But I do want to pose the question of why, at least in the black community and seemingly, why is swag so important? Now, you know what? I could be biased because I have absolutely zero swag. I have negative swag. Like, I am the least swaggy person that will ever exist. I am a nerd through and through. But swag always kind of blows my mind because I just don't get it. And I feel like swag is supposed to be interchangeable with confidence. And confidence, I do understand. Confidence is an essential part of any healthy relationship, whether that's a relationship with someone else or a relationship with yourself. But confidence is something that is very fluid, right? Like, confidence isn't static, and you can have a ton of confidence in certain arenas and areas of your life and have insecurities in other areas and arenas in your life. Like, I have a ton of confidence in my reading and writing, but my arithmetic is trash. And again, when I think about swag, I feel like it's supposed to be interchangeable with confidence, but when you really think about it, or at least for just me, and I can only ever speak from my personal perspective and experience, but like, when I think of swag and confidence, like when I think about the individuals who come to mind when I think of swag, and when I think of the individuals who come to mind when I think of confidence, I don't particularly want to be in a relationship with the individuals that come to mind when I think of swag versus those who come to mind when I think of confidence. For instance, let's use an example. My sweet baby Mikey, I don't think that I feel like I have negative swag, and I feel like he has like negative swag. I don't think there is like a bone in his body with just like a glimmer, like a sparkle, a sheen, a hint of swag. But he is a very confident and capable and competent man. And I guess again, what bothers me about swag is that a lot of times, when, at least how I visualize it, it's one of those things that's mostly just talk. It's just words and maybe like body language or movement. But swag is something to me that really has no tangible benefits to it. Swag cannot pay bills. Swag cannot hold my hand when I'm laying in a hospital bed dealing with pneumonia. Swag cannot pick the kids up from soccer practice or take them to the dance recital. Like, swag just can't do that. And that's why I think it's kind of important to prioritize confidence over swag, because in my opinion, again, swag is just like gusto, it's just talk. But confidence is usually built on a foundation of competence, and competence is built through action. Competence is built through action. And you, again, in addition to character, you have to prioritize action over race and action over talk. And I just think that, you know, as women, we have to move away from like the showiness of swag because it doesn't really have anything to show for itself. Now, she goes on to say in the comment that, like, in comparison to white men, black men have more like meat on the bone intelligence. And I'm just going to be really transparent with you all. I don't know what that means. Like, I tried to Google. I legitimately tried to Google what that means and I could not find anything. And I just don't know. I've never heard that phrase before. I'm not saying it's not commonly used. I'm saying that it is new to me. So if you know what that phrase means, please drop down in the comments and let me know, because I've just never heard of it before. And it's not through a lack of trying. But I'm assuming, if I have to assume, which I guess I have to do here to comment on it, I assume that like meat on the bone intelligence is maybe like street smarts or like common sense, or I don't know, maybe it has to do with like sexual prowess, like maybe it's sexual in nature somehow. I honestly don't know. But I will say, if it's any of those things, if, I'm not saying it is, I'm saying if it's any of those things, it's a little disheartening to me, because I feel like that's a little bit of a stereotypical view or perspective of black men. And that's something that I have a major personal issue with within the black community, is that I feel that we rage against stereotypes and being typecasted, but we have no issue with stereotyping and typecasting one another and ostracizing one another if we don't fit into the mold. It's a weird thing of we don't want to be seen as a monolithic until we are not behaving in a monolithic manner. But I digress, because I don't know what that phrase means and I don't want to go down the rabbit hole talking about something that I know nothing about. Now, another slight point of contention that I have with this comment is this notion of being some white man's fetish. And we've talked about this on this channel plenty. And you know, I'm transparent. You know, I'm honest. Like, yes, I believe that 9 times out of 10, as a black woman, if you try dating outside of your race, you will likely have some sort of experience with being fetishized by a non-black man. I thoroughly believe that that is likely to happen. I'm not saying it always happens, but I'm saying it is likely to happen in some capacity. But here's my, like, here's me playing a little bit of devil's advocate, or maybe not even devil's advocate. Maybe this is just like being blunt, being honest. Yes, you may experience that, but at the same time, as a woman, you are going to experience being used, being seen as just a sexual object by men in general, period. Like, I cannot tell you, like, from puberty, honestly, even before puberty, like from a young girl, I have had black men catcall me and just say gross and disgusting sexual things to me from a very, very young age, well into my adulthood. Like, for most of my 31 years of living, I have experienced this. Like, I have experienced being sexualized, being hyper, being over-sexualized. And I'm not saying that, hold on, I'm not saying that to bash black men. I'm saying that to say that, like, it's not like it's more likely to happen once you step outside of your race. Like, the difference, yes, the difference may be that it's like racially charged, right? Like, there might be like an element of bigotry, of bias, of racism. But I mean, here's the thing, like, you know, let's say person A spits on my food and person B spits on my food and then knocks it on the ground. I'm not happier or more satisfied or cooler with person A just because person B did me worse. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't really matter when you're being treated poorly, like the extent of how poorly you're being treated by one side versus another. Like, poor treatment is poor treatment, and you need to avoid that at all costs, regardless of like what package the poor treatment is coming to you within. And this really brings me to like my last point of discussion, which again is just a repeat of what I said earlier: character over color, character over color, character over color. You know, the commenter said that like white men are so flaky, and I'm gonna be honest, from my own personal experiences, I have never experienced white men to be any flakier than black men are, or really, you know, any other people in general. And you know, what I have experienced though is that all of the foolishness that black men engage in, white men engage in that foolishness too. And maybe the difference, if there even is one, is that they can just be a little bit more subtle about it, a little bit more quiet about it. But, you know, foolishness is foolishness. And again, how often someone engages in foolishness, participates in it, is really based on character. And you have to recognize that so much of a person's character is determined by their environment. And so many of our behaviors are influenced by the exposure that we've had, the long-term exposure that we've had to the environments in which we have been brought up in, raised in, socialized in. And when picking a partner, you have to consider those environments in which this person is coming from, because even if, you know, like me, I have been in therapy for many, many years. It is something that I believe is essential to living, honestly, living in this world that we're in that's so crazy and chaotic. But if you are picking a partner, you have to really consider the environment that they're coming from, because even with therapy, those experiences, that socialization never really fully leaves. They learn tools, they may learn skills to deal with that socialization and deal with those mentalities and mindsets, but it never really fully leaves. And depending on the environment that they're coming from and the baggage that they're taking with them from that environment, like, that is then going to be the environment that you will be vicariously living in and living through as well, through association, through being with them. There are so many women out there who want, you know, this smooth talker, this super swaggy man, this bad boy who's bad to everybody but them. But girl, it doesn't work that way. Trust me, it does not work that way. If he is bad to them, he will be bad to you. He is who he is. It's not just going to shut on and off. And in a weird circumstance, in a strange world, in a weird circumstance where that does happen, why do you want to be with someone who is not kind, who is not courteous, who is not respectful, like, who is not generous, who is not nice to other people? Why do you want that? Why do you desire that? Like, that makes me want to ask you, like, what's going on with you? Like, what's going on with you? What insecurities is this feeding into? Like, what wounds is this feeding into? Like, where's the maturity level at? Because why? You know what I mean? Like, why? All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. And until next time, stay safe, be well, and I'll see you all soon, and happy holidays, everyone. Bye.